Well, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the Metler Family YouTube channel. And gosh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Well, to bring you up to speed before we get into what I'm doing here today, uh, computer crashed. We had to get an external hard drive, and it was a mess. But we saved all of our uploads for Paisley Girl and the Gardens channel, and for the whole Metler Family channel. So we were able to back all that material up. Yes. But we will be getting a bigger computer system the first of the year. So that's why we haven't done any updates for Paisley Girl in the Garden and for the Metler Family channel. Well, it's been a crazy couple weeks, hasn't it? Prices are skyrocketing. This is the time to really think about what your priorities in life is. Meaning that should you be buying some clothes and you got a closet full of clothes and shoes, or should you be putting yourself into a mindset of stocking up? One thing that we do here, and I'm going to be doing a video on it, but I'm going to tell you what it is how to recycle bottles. For example, here I'll show you. Bring one up here. Even one here. This is just bleach. But when this bottle empties out, what we'll do is, now since it's had a chemical in it, it'll be rinsed out pretty decent, but it won't be for drinking water. I'll put on here wash up or for dishes. Same thing here. This had a chemical in it. This is perfect to fill up with water. If it has a little soap in it, that's fine. Fabric softener bottles. We'll go into another video on that. Today we are going to be making some homemade vegetable soup. Now I'm going to be making a very large batch here. Now you do not need to make a large batch. Turn this down here real quick. This is done. So we're going to make some homemade vegetable soup. Now you do not need to make a large batch of vegetable soup, okay? You can make it just for your family. But again, here's the mindset. As you just saw, I'm shaking up a can or jar here. Paisley Girl, she does all the canning in our family. We have tomato juice here that she did back on March. This was last month or this month. Tomato sauce. So we have some tomato sauce there. We have cans of beef broth. But what I'm getting into here is why we're doing a large batch today is she's going to be canning this, okay? So that way we'll have a stock of vegetable soup. So that way if something happens, and as you can see, prices are skyrocketing on food, gas, everything that you consume, buy, whatever is going up. And it keeps going up, and I don't know where it's going to plateau, but something's got to give here, okay? We can't be paying, you know, I think it was, trying to think of an example here, $4 or $5 for a thing of, oh, I can't remember what it was. But what I'm getting at is if you go to your shelves, for example, my wife went to Kroger's a couple weeks ago and stocked up on cans of beef broth. Because you'll be able to do a lot with beef broth. You can do soups out of this, even just one can. One can can last 3 people if you really had to survive on this. You can't depend on the government, people. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. So it's time to preserve your food. It's time to take a stock of what's important in your life. You know, this is not a time to go out and buy cars and all kinds of other crazy stuff. This is the time where you need to be taking stock of your food, your water, because one day you can turn this on and it won't come on. What are you going to do? Because what are you going to wait in line for water to be distributed by the National Guard or military? It's not realistic, okay? If you watch any films of mass destruction or whatever, Joe Smo has got to feed his family. So when this is empty, and tomato tomato V8, we'll be filling this up with water, okay? And so we will have stocks of water. I can't tell you how much water we have because I'm not going to reveal that. It's your job to take care of your family. And this goes for, sometimes, you know, I know men don't watch kind of videos like this, but if you are a brother, it's your job to take care of your family. Buying guns and ammo, that's great, but you gotta feed yourself. You can survive on a lot of water, okay? I mean, you can survive on water if you had to. I'm a good example of that. Last couple of weeks I've been really sick. I don't know what's going on with my diabetes. But one thing that I can survive on is water. I drink a lot of water. You know, when your numbers are up high, you drink a lot of water. So it's very important to start taking a stop. Think ahead. Women, this is for you too. Learn how to can while it's there. It's not hard to can. Watch. There's a link always below any of my videos for Paisley Girl. So I just would advise you to start taking the stock of what's really important in life. Food and water for your family. That's what's important. Okay. You know, we're all guilty of wanting to go out and buy, you know, the latest ammo or gun, but you know, how many guns do we really need? You need a sidearm and one long rifle. That's really technically all the weapons you need, and you need ammo for both of them kinds of weapons. So it's time to start stocking up on your food and water before it's too late. Go to your local Walmart, Kroger's, whatever you go to shop at. You're going to see a lot of things missing. And right now on the shelves at Walmart, our local Walmart, these do not exist. Now they have several other cans, and I didn't buy any because they were too expensive. And I think that's what I was talking about: $5 for a can of beef broth, maybe a little bit bigger. This is a 14 ounce. I think it was a 20 ounce thing of beef broth, and it was like $6. So it's time to stock up. Good example here is I cubed up a bunch of round eye steak. Normally I buy stew meat for this, but this worked perfectly. And I've been over here, it's already cooked. And you can look at the picture right here. And so anyways, so there was extra steaks over. I could have easily cut all this up and put it in here. But my wife bought enough. I think this will be plenty enough meat for tonight's dinner, vegetable soup, and for our canning. So these two here will be put in the freezer for a rainy day. And it's already seasoned up. So I'm going to stick it down here in the fridge right now. Alright, so what kind of ingredients do I use? This is what I used on the steak that I just showed you. And that's a good source of a way to marinate. Just put it in a Ziploc bag, put all your ingredients in there, and shake it up. So we start off really simply with a all-purpose seasoning, a steak seasoning, good old salt and pepper, and then balsamic vinegar. I love it, so it makes the meat really good in flavor. And to really give that steak, that stewed meat that I'm frying over here in, is red cooking wine. Now, same stuff that I just showed you went into that bag, and my steak will blow you away. Trust me. So, and I'll put a link down. I'll put a description down of all the ingredients that goes into this. Now we're going to bring the salt and pepper back over here because we're going to probably have to salt and pepper this up. Now, like I said, I've never made a very large batch before, so this is my first time. Okay. Now, as you saw in that picture, all that juice is butter and all the ingredients that I just showed you. So all that stuff, all that juice is going to go straight in here. Okay. Now, the first thing that I did is I filled this pot up with water. Okay. The way I tell you people to start, what of course you're not going to have a big pot like this, but any pot you use, a stew pot, or even if it's just one of them, regular pans that you would use, fill it up at the bottom until the water comes together. When you're filling up something, you see the water, it will slowly close up, and then that's how I do my water. That's how much water I put in this. Alrighty, so we're going to start off with tomato juice. Good old tomato juice sheet can. Tomato sauce is just something to kind of thicken it up a little bit. There we go. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, so we're just going to pour that right in there. Alright. I was under pressure. Let's see how much mess I'll make with this one. Oh, that one came off good. Alright. I can't remember if she said she wanted to save these or not, so we're going to save these lids until she tells me otherwise. Now, like I said, this is going to be a two-part video. Basically, you're going to see me doing all this, getting prepped up. Now, this vegetable soup is going to cook about 6 hours, okay? And so then Paisley girl is going to come behind me, and she's going to show you how to can all this beautiful vegetable soup up. Now, I love the smell of vegetable soup. There's two soups that I really only eat, and that is chicken noodle soup and vegetable soup. I love vegetable soup. I would have to say if I had to choose either one, it would be hard because I love both of them. So we're just going to make sure we got all that out of there. Goodness, because that's from our garden. Both of the tomato juice and that tomato sauce is from this year's harvest. Now, my wife yesterday, she was busy making, she's supposed to be resting. Just to give you a quick update about Paisley girl. Last Tuesday, she had a spell. It was during the middle of the night. She was up, just felt real weird and out of it, and felt like maybe she was having a heart problem going on or something. So we gave her some baby aspirin. A couple hours later, she was knocked out. She went back to sleep. She went to work that day, because this happened on Tuesday morning. And you're going to need, like I said, probably just one B8, okay? And as far as the tomato juice and the tomato sauce, you can put them in there too if you want. Like I said, make it how you want, but the base core of this is going to be a B8 and a beef broth, okay? The extra stuff and your water is your base core, okay? And then the extra stuff is just extra goodness. I mean, we're making a large batch here, so let's make it good here. And we're probably going to have to add a little bit more to this because we'll see how much these two V8s do and how much beef broth I put in and see how it goes from there. So anyways, back to her. She went to work, and it was about 10:30 at night, or it was about 9. I think it was about 9:30. She called me. She had another spell, and it was a really bad spell. So she's been off work since then, and she's just been resting yesterday. But I can't keep my Paisley girl down, that's for sure. Alright, so we're just going to set that over there because I got to clean them out. And like I said, I'll be doing a video on how to clean these out and how to, what you need step by step, how to purify water and stuff like that. So I'm going to pour this in there. Actually, this is starting to fill up pretty good, so this might work out pretty darn good. Might not need to add any more tomato juice or anything like that. So she's been off. She went to the doctor Friday. Went to the doctor on Friday. Doctor's got her on a bunch of tests that needs to be done. She's going to be put on a heart monitor to wear for I think 72 hours or something like that. And so she'll be on doing that, wearing that, and she's got to get a brain scan done because she has a benign thing up here, but she has a lot of headaches. She's had some other tremor type stuff, so just keep her in her prayers, okay? Lift our whole family in prayers because, like I said, my health is not the best either. But we're making it. We're doing it. Just shows that when you start getting older, you just start your engines and everything else needs to be looked at. Don't put off going to the doctor. Okay. No, I do not save these because these are wax boxes, so there's no sense keeping them. Same with cans, I don't keep them either. They will go straight to the old trash can. But what we've been doing is saving our milk cartons. I'd say milk cartons, such an old fashioned. Remember when you used to have milk cartons? Real milk cartons, you didn't have milk jugs, you know. But yeah, the plastic containers, your milk comes in. We've been saving them. For example, Carbon drinks a lot of, V8 drinks a lot of apple cider or apple juice. So we've been saving them and filling them with water. Alright, so we got one in there. I'm going to say we're going to need a couple more cans here. A couple weeks ago, actually it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was at the store and I should have stocked up on this. I really should have. But like I said, we also have canned beef broth or bone broth over there. I'm going to have her see if she can do some beef broth. Because like I said, you can make onion soup with this. It's not my favorite, but if it's something to eat, that's what I'll eat. Get a couple of these open here. Now I'll tell you a little secret. Unless it's something like, you know, cookie dough or something like that, you probably shouldn't do it. But one thing that I do is, if it tastes good cold, you're just heating up the taste. So like I'll be tasting this here in a minute. I'm not worried about putting all these cans of beef broth in there because, you know, you got to equal it out here. These are small cans, they're not like big cans. So yeah, that's what's been going on with our family. We, you know, been dealing with some health issues. We've been getting things cleaned up outside the garden. I'm trying to think what else has been going on. We're really easy people around here. We really are. We love life, and we just, you know, we're just really easy. Now we're going to put a little bit of salt in here. I'm not going to put too much because your beef broth is going to have it. Plus, all that goodness is sitting over here in the frying pan. That's all going to go in here too. So we're not going to worry about too much here. Now, get a spoon out of here. We kind of do share cooking around here. The majority of the time I do the cooking. Alright, let's give this a good roll. A little twist and turn. Give it a couple stirs here. Yeah, I do a lot of the cooking, and just lately I don't have an appetite, and no, I don't have the Rona. I already got tested for it because I thought maybe that's something that was going on, just to roll it out. No, I'm not getting vaccinated. I am a true blood. My blood will stay pure, so I will not ever get vaccinated. I don't believe in it. Now, I did get a flu shot, but let's give this some taste here. See what it needs. That's pretty good for top of all right off. Yeah. I don't think I'm adding much more to it. I'll have to watch the, there should be, you know, this is a big pot, so this is pretty much full. Now while this juice is in here, like I said, all the goodness goes in here. It does not get drained. If you want to think of it, it's kind of like beef broth. Really good flavored beef broth is that. This is what we use for cooking. We cook only with cast iron. Like my little half gloves. I was going to buy the little, well, the reason is, over here we have the Ninja foodie, or foodie. How you say it? It's steam presses, fries, air fries. It's a machine and all, man. I'm telling you what. But I had to get little gloves to pull out the pot. It's inside there. And these big mittens don't work, and the little mittens, or little ones that we have around here. So I bought these. I love them. Anyways, okay. So we poured all that in there. We're going to give this a stir. I'm kind of looking right now just to see what kind of consistency of meat that we have. Because the worst case scenario, I could always chop up. I mean, I could fry that up real quick. And I think I probably will. I think I'm going to add that other meat. Just because when I'm doing a spoon, I don't know. I think it'll be fine. I was going to add that other steak, but I think I will just keep it as it is. Alright, so let's give this another taste. Let's stir it up. That's good. Very good. Alright, so now the next step, let's take it over to the stove. Now we're just going to put it on 3. And put the lid on it. And let it do its magic. Like I said, it'll take about 6 hours. Now, of course, it depends on your size of pots. The more you let it cook, the better it is. Now, here in probably about 2 hours, I will put the bags of vegetables in it. Matter of fact, I'll show you what size we're going to use here. Now, I love vegetables in my soup. Alright, so again, my wife went to Walmart and she found this. It's 80 ounces, 5 pounds. Am I going to put this full 5 pounds bag of vegetable soup or vegetables in this? Yes. Why? Because vegetables are good for you. Okay, and I'm not a pea eater, I'm not a lima bean eater, but this has got both of them in there. That's a mixed vegetable bag. It's got green beans, corn, and carrots. Now, of course, if you really want to take the time, you can sit there and prep it out. Okay, I mean, you can literally cut up some fresh green beans, carrots, and all that kind of stuff. We're not doing that. If you're just doing a normal sized family batch of vegetable soup, like I said, you're going to need beef broth, a thing of B8, this right here, probably about 2 cans of that. Okay, that right here will make a family batch, okay, a small batch, okay, and you would only need probably, I would say you would only need a medium, I think they sell them like in, not small, but the next size up. You don't need a big bag like this, unless you love vegetables. I mean, if you really want to put a 5 pound bag in this kind of batch, you're probably going to need more V8 and beef broth. But this here, we'll fill this up really quick and it'll be really good. Now, throughout the day as it cooks, I will test it. Right now, it tastes perfect. I don't think I'm going to need to add anything. So that's a good thing. I think it's right off the spot and pretty darn close to what I want. Now, of course, if I need to, we might do another thing of V8. Okay, so we might do another V8 in this. I don't think we need to, but we'll see. Alright, well, that's cooking with the old Papa Bear here. This video will be posted on her channel, Paisley Girl Life in the Garden, and it'll also be posted on here under the cooking videos for Papa Bear, okay, and the Metler family. But you'll get to see both. You'll get to see it on both channels. You'll see the steps here that I just did, and you saw that it really didn't take long. The longest part of this is cooking up your meat. If you can't find stew meat and you have to cut it up, that can take a little extra time. Prep time here took about, I would say, less than 30 minutes. Between chopping, cast iron frying, less than 30 minutes to make a batch of vegetable soup. And vegetable soup is really good for the body. I mean, come on, it's got tomatoes in it, it's got some rich beef flavor, it's got vegetables in it, protein, meat. And you don't need to put meat. Like I said, you can put whatever in your vegetable soup. And I'll tell you what do you like in your vegetable soup? Put that down now, comment down below and put that in there, what you like in your vegetable soup. Do you like baked? Of course, you're making vegetable soup, I'm sure you're going to like vegetables. But do you put meat in it? Some people, I've heard people put hamburger in it. I just never done that. This is an old family recipe that I've used for years, and it turns out really good. You ask my wife, she will tell you that I'm a soup nut. She goes, this happened a couple months ago. It's 80 degrees outside, and you're eating a bowl of soup. I'm like, yeah, I love soup. Soup all the time, year round. So that's why I'm glad that I decided, I told her, I said, let's do, I said, for a video for you, you could do your canning of this vegetable soup. Now, I will tell you that I have some anxiety about this whole issue. If you ever watch pressure cookers, and I'm not talking about these kind here, I'm talking about canning wise, I've seen a lot of accidents happen with these pressure cookers, okay? Now, supposedly they're safer and they're not like the old days and blah, blah, blah. All I know is that when she does this today, I will be praying a little prayer that she doesn't blow up our kitchen. Because, as you can see, we have a microwave underneath here, so that pressure is going to destroy this. There's probably going to be all the soup all over the place. If it would be a default, something happens badly. I already told her, I said, now listen, I said, we'll do this. Now all she does normally is water bath. So today she'll be doing actually pressure cooking, sealing it. Because it does have meat, and anytime you have like meat, beef broth in your vegetable soup and you're going to can it, you've got to have it under pressure. It's got to be pressurized. So, yeah, we'll just pray that everything comes out good, because I told her, I said, if something happens, you're the one that's going to contact the apartment complex. You're going to explain this to the manager. She's like, it's not like the old. I said, I don't care. I don't care. Alright, so I'm going to let you guys get going so that way you can see this other part of the video. Alright. I will see you in the next part of this video. Oh, hello. I told you we were going to do part 2 of making homemade vegetable soup, and then Paisley girl is going to take over now and going to do her canning thing. But I wanted to show you how delicious this soup looks. Now we have a nice sized bowl here for dinner that we're going to have for dinner tonight, and it looks so yummy. Look at that. Oh, it's got potatoes and carrots and green beans in there. Now it's been cooking all day. Like I told you, it'd be about 6 hours, which has been about 6 hours, almost 7 hours now. And we still got a big pot, so she's got a big chore ahead.
Yes, I do.
So, yeah, she's got a lot of canning to do. I really did make a lot of good soup. We're going to put a little bit more broth. Well, it's got plenty of broth in there. It looks good. All right, kids. You take over, Paisley girl.
All right. It is so good to be back. And we are going to get this process started. Alright, so we have this huge pan over here. And I mean huge. We're going to bring it on over because it's good and hot. Put it over here. And what I have been doing is we got our pressure canner out. This is a 10 pint pressure canner. and I put water in there to the fill line, which is about 3/4. And then I put my 10 jars in there after I washed them and sanitized them, and they've been getting good and hot. So, at this point, we're going to go ahead and start bringing the jars over. I just put a little bit of that water that was in there in the jars to help them stay down and not float. Alright, so I'm going to get all 10 of these jars out. They're good and hot. Move the spoons out of the way here. Be very careful. Like I said, the jars are hot. You don't want to splash any of that water on you. I'm going to check and make sure the water is still at the fill line. Yep, perfect. Okay. So we are ready to get this started. When you are pressure canning this vegetable soup, you're going to have your funnel here. And the first thing you're going to do is fill up half of your jar. This is a pint-sized jar with the vegetables. No more than half for pressure cooking. Alright, so that's about halfway full. Yep. Now we're just going to add broth. And when you add the broth, you're only going to go up to 1 inch to the top, which is also where the lip is. And a few more vegetables get in there. No big deal. Almost there. Okay. Do a little bit more. Right to that lip is where you want to stop. Sounds like the husband's getting into something back there. Then you're just going to move over to the next one here. And at this point, you move some of these out of the way. At this point, you want to take a debubbler. I just have a wooden stick here, and you're going to go through, try to make sure you get all those bubbles out, and then you're going to use a nice clean rag. And at this point you can use just hot water. I prefer to use vinegar. It seems like it works better for me. And you're going to really wipe the rim, and be careful, the jars are hot. But you want to make sure that there is no juice, any kind of fats from the beef, or any leftover vegetable residue or anything on your rims, because that could affect your sealing. And see? So now you're going to take your new lid and your ring and put it on. And I'm going to use this towel to help hold the jar because it is hot. And you're just going to do finger tight. No more. Don't do no wrist action. Just finger tight. And we're going to move this on over to the canner. And then we're just going to continue this process until all of the jars are full. Like I said, my canner is a 10-quart canner, and I just lost my spoon in there. Or a 10-pint canner, I should say. It's a 7-quart canner. I think that's about halfway. We'll switch spoons here. And go ahead and fill up the rest with the broth. Perfect. Debubble it. And move it to the next jar. Go ahead and get our clean rag here. And wipe that rim again. And put our new lid with our ring on. Finger tight. All those yummy vegetables. This is going to be delicious, especially all throughout the winter. Just being able to break out a good soup without all the fuss. More. Very important to follow the headspace when canning. Next jar. And like I said, you can use just hot water to do this, especially if, you know, there could be some allergies, vinegar out there, I don't know, but if it's just you and your family and you know that there's no allergies to vinegar, I would recommend use vinegar. Finger tight once again. this, the pint-sized jars here, you'll be able to feed 2 people. If you wanted to make a sandwich or something with your meal. And it's trying to take off again on me. But it holds 2 cups. Now if you really love soup, and it's just you're a family of 2, and both of you enjoy it, then I would probably break out 2 of these jars for your dinner. Because you can open up 1 jar, and then if you think that you're going to need more, then you can go ahead and open the other jar at the same time. Alright. Jumped ahead of myself there. Just a tad bit more. Go. Now we can move it over there. And as you can see, I'm leaving it right here at the 1-inch mark. I knew I should have moved that spoon. But that's me. I'm good at making messes. My husband will tell you that too. And you'll see this does take a little bit of time. But in the end, it's so worth it to have a meal for your family, a shelf stable. I still have the canner on back here at like a medium low, just keeping that water warm to keep the jars warm while I finish filling these up. And I think we're definitely going to have enough to make maybe 2 batches, which is going to be really nice. So while you're watching this, why don't you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget the notification bell, because that way you will always know when we upload our content. Good time for that. Alright, 4 more jars to go, and we will be ready to start pressure canning. And I'll go ahead and put this back on the burner back there, so it can continue to stay warm for the next batch that we do. Now, I'm sure some of you may ask why we have to put the vegetables in first and then the broth, and it's already all together. Why can't we just ladle it? Well, we could, but this just ensures with the guidelines that we have the amount of solid in the jar and liquid that is needed to be safely canned. Also, you may have a question too. More than likely, we will have extra broth left over. Don't worry, it won't go to waste. You can also can that, because you already have your broth made for another batch of vegetable soup, or you can just drink it, which we all know that vegetable broth is really good for you. Alright, down to the last two. Like I said, I know this seems like it's a long process, but it is going to be so worth it. Kind of went over a little bit, but it doesn't appear that I did, so good. Also, debubbling will help you know if you've definitely gotten to that inch mark or if you're over. So that's always good to do. Plus, you don't want any air pockets in there. The whole point of pressure cooking is to get all that out and any possible bacteria growth. Alright, we got some room for one more. Alright. last jar to go in. Okay, so now it's time to get your lid on. Now when it comes to pressure cooking, you have a, ooh, that's hot. Let me move it out of the way. You have a ring, a rubber ring that is inside your pressure cooker. And what I like to do is just to inspect it to make sure there's no nicks, dried, it, make sure it's not crumbly, like, you know, it's very flexible and bendable. And then I also put, you can use any kind of oil. I just use olive oil because that's what we have. But I just put a little bit of olive oil around there, all over inside, just to help, excuse me, oh, excuse me, just to help make sure that the seal stays fresh and helps with canning. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get ready to put our lid on. There's a V here and there's a V here, so you know that's where you want to keep it. Okay, so I have it like that. Now I'm going to tighten it here till it lines up. And I'm going to put this on medium. And the reason that we're going to start at medium is because it's easier to stabilize it. This is going to be pressure canning in my area, which is below sea level, like 0 to 1,000 is 10 pounds of pressure. So in my canner, this is counted as 5 pounds. And then I will add another one on top to make it 10 pounds. But first, we're going to wait until this comes up to pressure, and we're going to see steam coming out. Once the steam starts coming out steadily, we're going to let it do that for 10 minutes before we put our weight on. Alright, so I don't know how well you can see, but this is now steadily streaming. So I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And as long as that continues to stream, in 10 minutes I'll go ahead and put my weight on. Everything looks good. There isn't no seeping. Yep. Alright, so in 10 minutes we'll go ahead and move forward. Alright, so we have about 20 seconds here. We're going to go ahead and get our weight ready. And once the timer goes off, we will put it over the steam vent here. Alright, you want to be very careful. This is hot. So you're just going to kind of slide it over there, just like that. Now you're going to wait, because the little knob back here is popped up, so that shows that it is ready to go. And we're going to wait and watch our weight. Once it is ready, it will start gently rocking. If you notice that it's rocking violently, slowly, very minimally, turn down your heat a little at a time until you get it to that gentle rock. If it's not rocking enough, if it's just kind of, you know, well, then turn your heat up just a tad, a little bit at a time, so you don't give the difference in temperature too rapidly. So we're going to wait for this and wait for it to come to a gentle rock. Once it's at a steady, gentle rock, which is usually about 10 minutes. It could take a little longer, depending on what's going on in your environment. But once it starts gently rocking, that's when we start our timer for 75 minutes, because we are using pint jars. If you were using quart jars, you would set your timer for 90 minutes. But since we are using pint, our time will be 75. Alright, you see we have a gentle rock going, not too excessive. And we'll watch it here for just a second, make sure that it maintains that same active rock. If you start to see it getting too excessive, just slowly turn that heat down just a little bit. And we'll go ahead and start our timer for 75 minutes. And you just want to make sure that it maintains that gentle rock for the whole 75 minutes. If it doesn't, if it all of a sudden stops, if you start, like I said, change it as you need the heat to be to keep that gentle rock. But if it stops at any time or anything like that, you'll have to start all over with the process of bringing the pressure back up and all that. So we're just going to sit by and keep an eye and an ear out, make sure that it maintains that level. And then in 75 minutes, when the timer goes off, as long as we've had no problems, we'll be able to move on to the next step. Alright, so we have less than a minute left. And this has been continuously, gently rocking for the last 75 minutes. No problem. The next step is very important. This is content under extreme pressure and very hot. Once this goes off, I'm going to turn the heat off and move the canner gently to off the burner. I do not have enough room on my stove because I do have this other large pot still simmering. So I will be moving it over here. And then we will talk more about that process as soon as I get that done. The timer is going off. Let's turn this off. Let me get my little glovies on here. But gently, very gently, we're going to move it over here. And I do not recommend that. If you can, try to lift and put it on a different burner. But like I said, I do have that on there. So you're going to start seeing this. It's going to slow down. But this is the main thing right here. This tells you that there's still pressure. So now what we do is just leave it alone. Let it cool down. Let it depressurize itself. Then this will pop down. Once that pops down, we'll be able to remove this. Alright, so now now you can see that the pressure lid has went down. That tells you that you're now safe to remove the weight. This is still very hot, so I will take the weight off like this, just to make sure that I don't get burnt. Now that we've taken the weight off, we're going to wait 10 minutes before we remove the lid. Alright, so it has been 10 minutes and it is time to take this off. And it's still pretty warm. So, I'm going to use the UGG glove because it allows my fingers to move a little more freely. And when you go to take this off, like I said, it's pretty warm still. You're going to lift the lid up away from your face because the steam can come in and burn and we don't want to get burnt. So we're just going to gently twist and lift up. See that steam? Steam burns are not fun. Move this out of the way. Looking good. Go ahead and gently pull them out. Look at that. That'll be a delicious dinner all winter long, into the spring until the garden is growing and we can add our fresh vegetables. It is still boiling. Now at this point you want to put it on a towel, flat surface. I have another one of these over on the table for 24 hours. You don't want to touch it until it's completely cool. So I'm going to grab the bottom here. And that's it for canning. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these out, put them on the table over there, and once they're completely cool and they've all popped, then you want to remove your rings, and then you can test and see if you have a good seal. And you can tell by having a good seal because you'll be able to lift from the lid, and if it doesn't come apart and it does allow you to lift, you know you've got a good seal. And that's it, really. It is a process, but it's so worth it in the end. And I'm just excited to have some meals in the pantry for the family.
Well, we are finished. Started this morning at 6:30 this morning, and now we are officially done.
Yes.
It's been a long weekend. Well, I'll let her talk about her canning and how much it produced and all that stuff.
Well, when we got finished, we ended up getting 15 pints of actual vegetable soup, and then we got 5 pints of beef vegetable, I guess you would say broth. Went ahead and got those all canned up, and those will be nice little meals for us to break out when we need to. He just brought one over, and that looked delicious. Now you'll notice that there was a little bit of white right here. It'll come right off. It's because we have hard water. I didn't add enough vinegar in it, but we'll go ahead and wipe that up. When we got that done, we also were able to freeze 8 cups of the beef vegetable broth as well. So we got plenty of that for the winter. You want me to talk about this? Alright, I spent a lot of time this weekend also with applesauce. We ended up having close to 50 pounds of apples. I didn't realize that we had gotten that much, but we did. And so I was able to can up 6 jars of the regular applesauce, sweetened of course, and then 6 jars of the cinnamon applesauce. And then what I did with all my apple scraps, my wonderful husband here is drinking apple cider. So I was able to make that as well. So it's just been a very, very, very busy weekend, but productive, and I'm excited to see what else that we're going to be getting ourselves into.
You forgot about the red hot apples.
I did make red hot candy apples. They're already on the shelf. Those, I don't know if anyone's heard of those, I'm sure you have. They're kind of like a Christmas apple. They have red hot cinnamons in it and very, very sweet. And I know that the older generation said that they used to go to school and for their lunches they would actually have red hot candy apples. So I thought we'd give it a try, and I haven't tried it yet, but it does look delicious.
Well, like I said this morning, you know, like I said, you know, this started at 6:30 this morning, making it vegetable soup. Yes, it's very time consuming. But where are you putting your stock into? You know, going out buying clothes, and I'm sure that some of you have clothes in your closet still with tags on it. You know, think where your priorities are. You know, if you're a brother watching this on her channel or the family channel, you know, it's very important to put stock where things are at. Now, we said we've got stuff for the winter, but actually this stuff here could be up to 10 years on a shelf, okay? So, will we use this winter? No. This is basically going to be put back in case something happens. And like I said, I pray to God that nothing does happen. But, you know, there is a good chance that something is coming. Look around your store shelves. It's getting empty. Your prices are skyrocketing. Gas for your automobiles are getting skyrocketed. So, you know, these are things to think about. You know, main thing is, and like I said, I will be doing a video on how to store water in recycled containers. And we'll go back, I'll go into more detail about that. You can survive on water for a long time, but it also goes really good with some vegetable soup, or even if it's just a jar of applesauce. You know, this applesauce we could open up, and we could probably really use this in a 3-day period. I mean, if worst case scenario happens. So her hard work canning all this, you know, me preparing the vegetable soup, yes, it's time consuming, but at the end of the day, we're putting insurance on our counter or our shelves, because we can't depend on our government. And like I said, if you have never watched a disaster movie or you know, a movie where, you know, you have to depend on the government to go get your water down the street, or to a food truck that the military will roll in, it always turns out to be very disastrous, because we'll say that one apple here equals 100 people, okay, show up to that truck. 50 of these people more likely are not going to get food or water. So what do you think is going to happen to the other 50 that just got it? These people are not going to go for that. They're going to go steal that food. They're going to shoot people. So it's very important not to depend on the government. Learn how to do these. It's very important, people. It really is. I can't tell you enough about canning. Do it now. You can watch tons of YouTube videos, or you can watch Paisley Girl Life in the Gardens channel, where she does all the canning. Where you'll see on the family channel, you'll learn a lot about cooking, DIYs, and I'll talk about prepping water and that kind of stuff. So, anyways, so I'll let her say her piece about Paisley's Life Garden channel, and then I'll finish it out with the family channel.
Yeah, please like, subscribe both of our channels. Hit the notification bell so that you always know when we upload videos. I don't only can, I garden, I do fermentation. In fact, I have sauerkraut right now fermenting. I also showed some dehydrating videos of how to dehydrate your herbs and things. So yeah, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because you don't want to miss any of the videos that we have. We have a lot of teaching tools, and hopefully we can help some of you out there.
And same for the Metler Family channel. It's more of you'll get some spiritual guidance from myself. You also get updates about the family of health issues and stuff like that. And just regular news about what's going on in our local communities and our state. So make sure you subscribe. Her channel is always in any of my videos that I post for the family channel, or links there. So you're going to see on this both channels. So whichever channel you're watching this on, make sure you follow the other one if you're not following that one, and subscribe to that one, and notifications and all that fun stuff. Again, we thank you for visiting us here at our homestead and making very easy, very long process of vegetable soup. But at the end of the day, we have insurance on our shelves. Again, as we say around this homestead, we love you, but Jesus loves you more. And God bless each one of you. And Paisley girl, what do you always say about your garden?
Share, share, share.
Share! Alright, see you on the next video.